Right, so I want to share something with you first of all that took me far too long to actually understand. And for years, I was basically that guy that was trying to compete against everybody else. I was always looking at what the bigger guys are doing, the numbers they're hitting, the lifestyle they're living, the way that they show up, their brand. And honestly, it was exhausting. And I feel like this is really important and powerful to share because I see so many people now going through this. And look, I'm never going to say I've mastered it because this is forever a rolling thing that we're always going to work on as entrepreneurs because especially people that come from the strength background, they are super competitive. They are doing things that the average gym goer, let's say, isn't aware of and they don't have the ability to get to the place that a typical strength guy could get to through just fucking working hard and pushing themselves, right? And this is a fact. It's if people get into the strength sport world, you are pushing yourself to your limits. You find out so much about yourself. So you have that competitive edge. And for so long, I was always doing this whole competitive attitude in business as well. But when I stopped and then looked sideways instead of thinking about the future of what I could be, I then started to really see business in a different way. And today I want to break down the four areas that I would advise anybody to go from amateur to pro within business. So, look, listen up and write these things down, work on these things because I know it's going to help every single person. And these four areas really are to dig into the breakdown of how I started to show up, what I started to think about, what I started to do daily, and everything else that involved me growing within my business. And a little bit of context if you're new to my channel or you don't know who I am, but I'm Dean and I'm an ex strongman. I used to compete all over the world professionally in the under 90s and then under 105 category. I've ran a gym for 10 years. I sold it in 2024, built it from scratch, and I went through every element throughout the gym space of group coaching, one to one. I advanced it into more specialized transformation stuff. And then I went to an open gym, running a community, and then I coach people online. I've not done it all because, look, if anyone ever says they've done it all, they're full of shit. But I've done so much that I've learned so much. And I now work with strength coaches and athletes to help them build a business through the mistakes that I've made over the years. And look, you've probably heard it so many times that coaches and mentors are helping you get there the fast track way. I'm going to give the honest and real stuff that you need to move forward faster, but let's not pretend that it's going to help you get there faster in time because look, there's no such thing as cutting corners and there's no such way of getting there fast. You need to build your reps, your credibility, your authority, etc. But what you can do is do the right thing first, which will get you there faster in the end because you don't have to learn the process and the mistakes as you go through. And a quick one before we kick into this. I run a community on school for strength coaches who want to build their online coaching business throughout the next 28 days. There's a 7-day free challenge. So join on the link below in the description. Get yourself in there. You can implement the mini growth engine if you want to call it something like that, because the main growth engine that I teach inside my mentoring, this is like a mini version to get you the results. The guys already that have been in there have got some insane results. So get yourself in there, get involved with the 7-day challenge and start to see how you can really build your business without the sleazy tactics that you get from all the bullshit guru mentors. So let's get into the meat of this then. Now, look, if you're anything like me, you're probably growing your business and you're looking at lots of different things and lots of different tactics and ways you can progress. And you're passionate about working with people, so you don't want to lose that touch with them personally. But there's just too much an overwhelm of things that you could possibly do. Now, I used to get really held back and overwhelmed by thinking there is just too many directions to go. And that's why I've started sharing videos like this so that I can help you just get straight to the point and understand exactly what it is. But I've bought every DM script once when I realized that it really isn't the way that people work. And then I stopped thinking that way. I've ran every type of application process, launches, different systems that you can put in place, or getting a VA, getting a setter. I've tried all these things because all the big guys say to do this. But when it comes to reality and understanding life the way I seen the connection that I wanted to keep with my clients, I didn't want to lose that personal touch. And if you're, again, like me, the type of strength coach that is really passionate about seeing results and working with people specifically, then you'll probably find yourself in a place where you think, I want to do all this work manually because that's how I best deliver for myself and for the client, but I can't scale because that's not possible. Well, look, I'm going to show you the things that you're going to be able to do to keep hold of staying passionate and working with people individually, but able to actually scale your business. And it starts from a few things that we need to look at, because when you look at your business, there is often a way that people will see as the only way to grow. But you have to look at everything. You have to look at how you show up on social media, the daily tasks that you're doing. Are you doing emails, sending emails per week? If you're just sending one email, well, take it up to 2, 3, 4, progress it on. What type of content are you putting out? Are you trying to just show off and show your stuff, or are you trying to shift beliefs? There's lots of things to think about within this. How are you launching your product? What kind of product is it? Who is the product for? There's so much to think about. So let's get into the understanding of how we can break this down so you can actually build your business on something that's fun to build, as opposed to just copying everybody else and then realizing, well, this isn't working for me. It's the same as a training program. If you were to just copy the pro training program, that, let's say you're following somebody that Mitch Hooper, he's just one world's strongest man, if I'm spoiling the fun for you. But if you followed his program, would you be like him? Well, no, that's not how it works. And this is what we need to understand within the business side as well. There's not a copy and paste process that you can go through and get the same results. And a quick one as well. This week, we've just opened our doors. There's 5 spaces for anybody who wants to join the shift. It's £200 for a 2-week trial. And I do it this way so you can literally test it out, see if it's the right thing for you, but also I can see if you're the right person for my business and my model. I help you implement everything within that 2 weeks. And then at the end of that, you decide if you want to carry on. So if you do, just click on the link below, get yourself into my school, and then DM me the word shift, and we can start to talk about how this will work for you. There's only 5 spaces, and I only open 5 per month. So if you want one of those spaces, be quick, get yourself in there. So let's dig into this then. First of all, we're going to have hobbyist versus pro. And then across here, I want to explain to you exactly what it looks like to work like a hobbyist and turn pro. And these are things that I have implemented over time that have really helped me see things in a different way, rather than just banging your head against the wall thinking, why is this not working for me like it apparently does for everybody else? And as we sort of like look at this here, try and understand where you are right now. Because if you are new to business, or you are 5 years in, 10 years in, it's important that you're specific to the thing that you are going through at that point. Because again, if you're looking at your business and somebody else's business and thinking, well, I'm doing the same as them and it's not working, break things down. And you can't do that enough. The first one I want to go through then, the first one I want to go through then is the offer. So, like, what is the offer? How does it look? Now, typically for a hobbyist, it's, I have online coaching spaces. And I see this still now, coaching. And I see this still now where people are putting, I've got online coaching spaces available. They're driving that urgency to buy their product, buy their thing, join their program by just saying the thing that they're selling. But remember this, people don't buy online coaching. they buy the result. So what we want to change this to is the outcome, the result, and the problem they're fixing. And I say problem fixing because often people don't see this, especially in the strength industry, they don't see it as a problem to fix. But the reason people buy your product is because they can see that you are something that can help fix them. So rather than selling the online coaching package, rather than selling the stuff inside, sell what the outcome is, sell where you're taking people, sell the thing that you are helping them fix. And when they then think, this guy or this girl gets me, they can fix the thing that I'm trying to fix, then this is where they align with you and they then are more interested in what you have. The important thing off the back of this is that your content speaks to that person specifically. And you need to make sure that when you're talking to that person specifically, you make it clear where you take them from and where you take them to. So, for example, I take guys that are doing the online coaching in a hobby way to a pro way. I take them from 2K to 10K months. Now, I don't do that in 90 days. I don't do that in 6 months or anything like that. It's when you hit it. And the reason it's that way round simply is because anybody that tells you they can get you 10K in 90 days is full of shit. They don't understand where you're at, and neither do you until you've tested these strategies. And hence, that's why when I work with people, it's a lifetime access that you get inside the shift. Once you get through your trial period and you're in, you're in. You get everything for life. And I do it that way simply because this is what I've built over the 15, 16 years in the industry. I'm teaching you absolutely everything. I can't say, well, in 90 days, you're going to achieve X, because that's not possible. So when you're thinking of your offer, really focus on, thinking about what it is that you are talking about in your content. Because often people will say, you get a check-in on Loom, you get a nutrition plan, you get a training program. This is all the delivery stuff. This isn't actually the stuff that they are looking for. They're not looking for an online coach. They're not looking for a programmer, a nutritionist, although they think they are and you think that they are. But what you have to do is highlight the focus of exactly what the problem is and what their outcome wants to be. You then want to, inside here, have like a tiered approach, a tiered process. Now, I have something that I teach that's called the access ladder. We have the biggest tier at the top, and then we go down to the bottom. The bottom is the free stuff that we sort of like help people with to fix a small problem, to build that trust, likability, and like be like, look, this is what I can do. This is exactly what the 7-day growth challenge is for. Again, if you haven't already, go into the description, get yourself into my school community, and you'll see what it's about. That is free for you to get some insane results and be like, shit, if this is free, then what is it going to be when I work with him one to one? And that's the whole point of it. This is how marketing works. This is how coaching works. The next tier up is something that is more of a DIY sort of system, and it's a step up in price and it's a step up in results, let's say, because they're going to get more of you, more access to you, and that's why I call this an access ladder, because it's taking them up the ladder. They're also then going to you're going to make more money from it, and then they have an opportunity to go up and up again, depending on how many levels you want in your program. But this wants to be your core program, which is, for me, it's the shift. So after you've done the 28 days, so I have a 7-day, I have a 28-day, and then I have the main shift program where you just work with me unlimited. And at the top, it's the one-to-one. You pay that bit more for me to work with you and do it with you. And throughout there's it's the same focus, the same thing that we're working on. We're just making sure that you have more access to me to get there in a more simplified way. Some people will do the first thing and absolutely crush it. And that's the same in your business. You will have people that will do the first thing. Actually, that is all they needed. So have this system set up so that it's an easy entry point, and then you ascend them up as they go through, as opposed to just saying like, this is the one thing I do, or you're causing a bottleneck before you've even sort of took people further on into your program. If people don't want that one thing, then they don't go anywhere. Well, just ease them in first of all, and then start them in that process of nurturing them. your content, your emails, and everything that you do will over time be shifting their belief to understand and see what you do. And then at some point, they'll be like, I'm ready. I don't want to work with this guy or girl. And that is how that system works. And this is exactly the same as Richard, one of the guys at the moment inside the shift, who has rebuilt his whole offer. We've helped him get into school. He's building his members in there now. He's got his paid clients and his non-paid clients that he's obviously nurturing, working on with a lead magnet, with something to fix. And inside here, he's got a whole DIY program that you can buy and you can do your own thing. He specializes in fat loss for men. And this is something that over time, as you build, this becomes your offer. Your offer then isn't no longer the whole, it's a spreadsheet with your nutrition stuff on and your training and this, that, and the other. You get weekly Zooms or Looms, whatever it is. It's no longer that. It becomes actually, what is the outcome and how do I take them to the next step? And that's exactly what you want to think about with your offer. So content's a huge thing, right? And I feel right now there's so much conflicting, confusing, and wrong metric, wrong directional stuff on content that people then get confused and never move forward. And this is all because there's so many content creators out there now that are specialists in this, that, and the other, AI specialists and whatever else. Just for the record, there is no such thing as an AI specialist. I seen this the other day and somebody said they're an AI specialist. AI is further ahead than us. There's no such thing as being an AI specialist. So if that's you, then get a grip of yourself. But with the whole content game, you need to stick to a formula, a format, a process, a framework, and then you need to stay consistent. You need to guide people into a certain area. If you don't have a plan with your content right now, then you're probably in this hobby lane and you're most likely saying, look at me. So it's what you eat, it's your lifts, and whatever else you want to share, right? And it's always about look at me. Now, I'm going to say this because I did this. Most coaches do that because, first of all, you're documenting your journey, of course. And that's the thing that you're sort of like working on. You're working on yourself. It's your journey, correct. But when you decide to do, let's say you shift to be an online coach or face-to-face coach, whatever it is, you need to understand that your marketing needs to shift as well. You need to then start focusing on them rather than you. You want to document your stuff as well. Of course you do. That's what you do. And let's say for me, I used to compete in strongman, so I'd share my stuff. I'd always put a lesson with it and teach people what I learned when I did that competition, this prep, whatever it may be. But then I'd also turn it around so that there's specific educational posts that are for them, that are telling them how they can improve their stuff as well. So you need to make it about them. And I can't even spell today. And their problems, their fixes. And this is again how we bring it into making sure that they can see you as somebody that they understand me and they know how to fix this. You then show examples of you fixing yourself with the things that you're showing to use for them to fix for themselves and how you can guide them through. You then need to make sure that every post that you're posting in some way, shape, or form is sharing a lesson or something that you are helping them fix, or a progression within a phase, whatever it may be. But every time you post something, think that way. Now, the best system that I have done and teach is the GAP framework. It's growth, authority, and personal. If you haven't already heard about it, go and have a look at the other videos if you want the super depth on it, or go into my school community in the link below and you can be taken through the whole process. But inside the GAP process and framework, it's growth, authority, and personal. Growth is the stuff that gets the eyeballs on your posts. So this is posts that stand out. I'm not talking dancing naked or getting your tits out or anything like that if you're a woman, or if you've got them if you're a man, whatever. But what I'm on about here is the stuff that gets people to go, okay, this person's they stand out in a certain way. They're different. I can see that a different point. It's the contrarian sort of takes. It's the opinion stuff. Now, I'm not saying turn into James Smith and literally slag off everyone. I mean, doesn't do that nowadays as much, but I'm not saying you have to do something crazy, but it's the stuff that gets your attention. It's the stuff that makes you stand out to be different from somebody else. And then you want the authority stuff. The authority stuff is you showing your journey, the journey that you have with people, how you've helped them get from A to B, the problem that client Terry had, and then you got him you did this with him and it got him this result, whatever it is. The before and afters, the case studies, all these different things. That's the authority. The education, again, that's the authority. And then you've got the personal, which is, share your real life, your real stuff. There's a lot of people that share too much personal stuff, or then there's the flip side that don't share any personal stuff. Well, you need to sit in the middle, right? You need to share enough personal stuff that you're seen and you're relatable, and people understand that okay, it's normal, it's real. It's just like me. I went through a stage of feeling like I didn't want to share too much personal stuff because I felt like I was showing off. But then actually, it's like no, I need to share my real life. I also went through a stage of sharing stuff that was focusing on attracting a certain type of person because I thought that's what I needed to do. But actually, no, you just be yourself. And that is the most so simple yet so powerful way to look at it. You just need to be yourself, be authentic, share the stuff that is personal to you, what means a lot to you, because it's going to attract the people that are like you, that think like you. And that's exactly how this works. So we want to make sure that you get a good, even split of all these. Now, the split that I always work to is 40, 40, 20. So 40% of the growth, 40% of the authority, and then 20% of the personal. And this split across your week, however many posts you do, at least do one a day is my way of looking at it, is going to then give you a good good consistency within your content. And the next one then that we're going to talk about here is conversations. Now, when you think about the conversations that you have with people, we have been stung within the industry through certain mentors, and this is through my learnings, experience of investing into mentors all over the years. But we've been stung and poisoned by the thought process that needs to go into the conversations, the DMs, etc., to be able to make money in the online coaching world. Some people will tell you to send cold DMs 200 a day, this, that, and the other. If you think that this is what you need to do and you don't like doing it, well, you're not going to do it. And that's normal life, right? Because this is what life's too short. We don't want to be doing things that are literally draining us to the lowest points where we feel like, why the fuck am I doing this? And I've been in that position multiple times, and I'm sure you have. But what we have to do is build a system that is we can sustain and we can keep up. That is also something that we're able to see the progression and the flow without feeling like we're just flogging a dead horse. Do you need to do DMs? Yes, 100%. Do you need to do cold DMs? No, not at all. They are for absolute retards. Can I say that? I just did. When you think about your business, you want to treat it the way that it is going to feel like it's being loved and it's actually growing. You can't just expect to treat it like shit and it's going to return for you. If you are not doing DMs right now and you're not talking to the warm people in your area of that are commenting, liking, then you're missing a trick. These people want something from you. That's what happens. You need to guide them to the next step. You need to find what their problem is. Something that I teach inside my system here is the 5-rep framework, and I built this specifically for this. But the guys that are sort of like struggling, let's say, they're looking at the bots and the scripts and VAs, setters, and I've been on all of these points before. I thought that all of these would be the next thing that I needed because I've looked into it. Actually, you find out they don't. They don't affect you in the way that you want your business to go. The bots are obviously bots. We all know what they feel like. There's too much of it. You speak to a bot and you just don't want to go anywhere with it. It's like, why the fuck am I doing this? It's a massive turn off. Scripts, they don't necessarily go to plan because that's not how it always works. VAs, really hard to train, let's be honest. They're really hard to get to think like you because then you're constantly correcting their work. Setters, these people are skilled, apparently. There's fucking too many of them, far too many that say that they've made this, that, and the other claim, whatever, but they've got nothing on their feeds at all. All of this stuff is ultimately taking a skinny jab thinking that this is going to get you there faster. Well, put the reps in and do the stuff, and then you'll get there. The way that we fix this is the 5-rep framework. Again, this is in detail inside my school community, so go there and have a look at it. I break everything down so you can literally copy and paste the framework, not the script, the framework. And the key here is that you take them through a journey. You take them through it's a psychological movement pattern, if you want to call it that. You're thinking about what they need, and you're listening to what they say. You then guide them to the next step. And one of the key points here that I can't stress enough is that you want to take them to the next step that's right for them at that time. Nobody wants to be forced something on. And look, when you build something so powerful like what I have, which is called a growth engine, it's a flywheel, it's not a funnel. Funnel, people go in, they go through. If they don't bite, they drop out the bottom and they're just a dead lead. Whereas a flywheel, the way I set the growth engine up, it's constant work. It's constantly going round. People, when they're ready, and then they will reach out. But if you don't get them in your flywheel, you'll never know if they're ready, or they'll never be warmed up to get to that point. And this is how we work the framework of the 5-rep within the DMs as well, because we're taking them through a process of the next step. Well, what's the right next step for them? And the whole idea is that we warm people up, we ask the right questions, we guide them to the next step, and then we work on them daily, weekly, until they're ready. But it's not about being sleazy and DMing people every single day, because if you work on, let's say, 20 warm people and you work on these for the next 2 weeks, you're going to get some bites through this period where they'll get on a call, they'll ask you, and they've heard enough or whatever, they'll ask you, how does it work? And you can send them like an offer document. This is something that I do, where I send a full document. It explains absolutely everything. It's got the price and everything on there, and people just click it and move on if they want to. If they don't, then they just let me know, and it's like, cool, it's fine. But when we have frameworks like this, it takes all the stress, the sleaziness off you, and you'll find yourself enjoying talking to people because you're helping them rather than feeling like, fuck, I need to make a sale. I always say the same thing here, like, for the guys who have worked on the gym floor before, and you're the personal trainer and you're trying to find clients because that's how you feel like at the start, that feeling where you're just looking at everyone thinking, have they got money? Has she got money? Like, do they want coaching? It's a horrible feeling. But when you switch that mindset to talking to people, asking them questions, and then let them say what they need, and you present to them what they need the answers of, then that helps break down that initial sort of barrier that people have, or you may have with them, or you think that they have with you. And then you're able to present them with the thing they need so they can go, yes, I'm willing to move forward, or not. Or if not, you just help them, and then you hang around until at some point they then be like, I need to go back to this person because they've helped me a lot in the past. And this is again how we work within this. So you want to make sure that you're focusing on real life stuff as opposed to not, and then using the bots and trying to train up VAs and this, that, and the other. But then you want to visit it every single day. Spend 20 to 30 minutes a day where you're just going through your system and you're just seeing who's in your pipeline and who needs moving to the next step. And then the last one that we have here then is retention. So retention is something that not often people think about, because they think, well, I need to make the sale, I need to get them through the door. But most sort of, like, let's say, hobbyist coaches that are thinking about retention, they're not thinking long-term retention, they're thinking short-term retention. And let's be honest, it's like the 8-week stuff or 12-week transformation. I'll leave it as trans, but it's transformation, not trans. Now, when you're looking at this is the short-term thing. This is the offer. This is the thing you're getting them to. Great, of course, you need to do that. But you then need to, if you want to turn pro, think about the things, the journey afterwards. And I like to look at it like this. We take them on an on-ramp period, and then we continue that process. This sort of like on-ramp period, let's say between here and here, is the 12-week program. It's from 0 to 12. Inside here, the reason it's so high on the scale is because you're doing all the work with them. You're giving them lots of support, info, and you're guiding them through everything. And the whole idea here is you've got two things to think about. One, you want, by the point here before you go into the maintenance period, the continued phase, whatever you want to call it, you need to give them as much information and as guidance as possible so that they're an easy person by then. And when I say this, you also want to tell them that, because great, it's a great thing for them to understand that that's how we work. But secondly, you want to think about the system that you have in here. Is it up to scratch? Is it able to do that, what we're trying to do? Because if it isn't, work on it. But then you want to make sure it's clear from the off that this 12 weeks isn't the end of their journey. Because people think about the sale, they think about, let's get them there, then we can think about it afterwards. Tell them the truth. Tell them at the end of the 12 weeks, I want you to then continue working with me. And that's my aim. That's what I'm going to do. So ask them the questions of, what do I need to do to help you make that decision at the end of it and stay with me? Where is your long-term goals? What do you want? Where do you see yourself in 12 months' time? And then what you want to do is build this system here. A little pricing tip for you throughout this 12 weeks, 3 months here. Let's just say it's £800. And then after this period, let's just say it goes to 150. And it's 150 a month continuous from there as they go through. And tell them that it's more expensive at the start than it is afterwards as well. So they have that sort of like understanding of, okay, yeah, so that's what it's like to get on that maintenance. You want to do a launch for this period here where you take 5 people on per month, for example, whatever it is. And then here you want to just focus on the number of people that you want in this system. Let's just say you've got 50 people here, and that's where your targets are going to be. You've got to make sure that everything here has a syllabus, and it's a continuous phase that helps people progress as they go through. And then you want to focus all your energy on getting people the insane results in this period here. And that is exactly how you work as a pro, as opposed to just thinking about the upfront stuff that you're going to do with them. And let's be honest, after that point there, most people drop off, or coaches panic, or think that I need more clients, I need more leads, when actually if you'd have fixed this, then you wouldn't have needed to think that you need more leads anyway. So look, that is the full system. This is the full thing, and I hope you got a lot of value from that. It's quite a long video, this one is. But if you stuck around to the end, you clearly have got value from this. But make sure you action this. We've gone through the offer, the content, the conversation, retention of exactly how to go from hobby to pro. And I want to help you to be able to get to that point. So you're not feeling like you're constantly building and restarting your business. This is where I was quite some time back. I was obsessed on getting to the 10K months. I hit the 10K months. I had 53 clients online. It was absolute madness. I couldn't take a day off, and I felt like I was working for somebody else. But actually, when I rescaled the whole way I did my business and nailed it, I then took it to other people and shown them they nailed it. And that's what this became. And that's why I set this company up 2 years ago. So look, right now, if you are a hobbyist and you want to turn pro, I am on a launch week. Like I say, I'm taking 5 people on. It's £200 for the trial for 2 weeks. If that sounds like you, go to my Instagram or my school community and comment or DM me the word shift, and then we can talk and get you onboarded. You can have a look at the full document, see if it's for you or if it's not. If not, get yourself in the school community anyway on the link below and get yourself onto the 7-day free growth engine. And I'll see you on the next video.